At the turn of the 20th century, in the early 1900s, there were only really two sports that really captured the imagination. It was boxing and wrestling. Horse racing was popular, but it hadn't yet reached its zenith. You've got to remember, baseball was in its infancy. Basketball was barely around. Football was struggling. Tennis and golf were barely in existence. The American male public really looked up to the combatants, the pugilistic sports, the heavyweight boxing champion of the world and the heavyweight wrestling champion of the world. Gotch's reputation grew fast. From all parts of the world came the outstanding wrestlers in the business to challenge the Iowa grappler. He defeated them all. For 10 years, he ruled as the wrestling champion of the entire world. And this was in the days when wrestling was a serious sport. Overall, Frank Gotch wrestled 400 bouts and lost just 6. As the idol of millions in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, Gotch made wrestling a big-time sport in his day. As a matter of fact, he drew larger crowds than did the heavyweight champion of boxing. By the time Frank was ready to return to his Iowa farm, he had earned millions of dollars. Added to that were the honors that Gotch had won over the years. Babies had been named in his honor, as had buildings, toys, farm implements, and 100 other things. The word Gotch was a synonym for quality and strength. I think the reason that Iowa is different than Nebraska or North Dakota or Minnesota or Illinois is because of Frank Gotch. You can't overestimate the impact of somebody from that era, in the 1910 era, when sports is just taking off in this country and becoming extremely important. It's just hard to overemphasize the impact one man can make. A Babe Ruth, we saw that in baseball, or a Jim Thorpe in football. You saw it with Arnold Palmer in golf. You saw it with Bruce Lee in the martial arts. One man can have such an incredible impact on a sport that it can change the entire culture. And it is my opinion that a lot of these farm communities in Iowa and Minnesota, Kansas, Nebraska had many things in common. The difference is Iowa had Frank Gotch. You had that Babe Ruth figure, that larger-than-life figure that really, really inspired the younger people coming up. They wanted to be like Frank Gotch.